Hello, Professor, and welcome to the Backrooms VR game. So, this is the prototype showcase. I will be showing the introduction, the Sprint 1, Sprint 2, Sprint 3, and the Sprint 4. So, in Sprint 1, there will be the logic, intelligence, or behavior. Sprint 2 will be about pathfinding, search, or advanced logic intelligence. Sprint 3 will be just procedural generation, effect audio, UI patterns. And Sprint 4 will be just consoles and optimization. So, the main introduction. Backrooms. It's actually a horror story called The Backrooms. So the story is an urban legend where a person gets stuck in an endless maze of randomly generated office rooms. The person will have a sense of fear of being alone or being watched. So that's what I portray in this game also. The same feelings, like of being fear, being alone, or being watched. These two, according to research, these two are the most fears that people have. So the player is surrounded by these monochromatic walls and constant buzzing sound of the bulbs. Just a plain room with just a countless passageways. Now going into the demo. Okay, welcome to the demo. So this is the main screen, the main menu. As you can see, display, control, and quit. And you can control it with the ray of light, so you can easily understand that. So control, you can see joystick is left move, right stick, joystick is turn camera, okay, and that's run. Let's see now. Arrows are very misleading. My God! Um, yeah, that's the end of the demo. I'll show you how the death works. So you win the game. You see, this looks like it's the exit, but it's false. No. Yes, this is how you lose the game. And welcome back. So, as you see, this is the sprint one now. The logic, intelligence, or behavior. So, so the main logic of the game, as you saw in the video, was just it's a single player game where the objective is to escape from the maze and not get caught by the monster. So it's a win or lose outcome. As seen in the demo, the player must go through a wall to be able to go to the next level. People wouldn't expect that because it's just an image there. Like people usually go for the door and stuff, but then again, this is a countless, endless loop of a maze. So this was made possible, like the door, which was supposed to be an invisible door, was made possible by adding a box collider, and it was actually invisible. So if the once the player touches, that means collides with the box collider. So that's why we ticked on the use trigger. Then the code will load the next scene. That is the main scene, which is the second level of the game. The first level was just a walkthrough. So the logic intelligence in this game was the main logic was again to survive and escape from the room and survive from the monster. But there was also the heartbeat thing. So the heart rate acts like a death counter also. It gradually increases from 75 to 180. So when the player is running, it will increase much faster. And the only way to reduce the heart rate was by searching for those arrows. Those arrows, which was shown in the demo, reduces the heart rate gradually. Um, so it's I'm giving the same feeling like once you see an arrow, once you see a clue in a place that you don't know at all, automatically you'll feel a sense of calm. So I was trying to show that. So if the player has reached a heart rate of 150, the player will gradually slow down. But if the player decides to run even after 150, then the BPM reaches 180. Then the player will get a cardiac arrest and die. In the code, it shows over here that at 180, if it reaches there, then automatically you'll get a loose scene there. And over here, it also shows that like it will gradually increase by one or two the range. Um, the 150 part wasn't shown because that was supposed to be a part of the FX, but that's for the future working. Okay, script 2, pathfinding, search of the advanced logical intelligence. That was basically going to the monster. So the pathfinding, um, yes, it was a simple nav mesh. I made the ground static and added a nav mesh agent to the robot, to the monster. So the monster is actually another challenge for the player. And the monster goes through a finite path that is depicted using navmesh agent by adding the navmesh on the ground of the game. The monster goes through three predefined states: wander, chase, and attack. As you saw in wander, the monster is not that fast; it's just wandering around, searching for the player. And then chase is when it it finds you out and then starts running behind you. The speed gradually increases, and it's also shown in the diagram. It's a finite state machine diagram, so as it shows, it explains very well. So the code was written heavily based on FSM, and the animation was also done according to that. This is the code written there, and it also shows over here with a bunch of switch case statements, and if statements in every case. As you see, at first it's wonder. It is at debug. It's just a like in general it's just wonders. So it chases first, and then the wander no, and then it starts wandering when it does if it when it doesn't see the player anymore. So it goes back to wander, and as soon as the player is found, then it will chase again and it will attack. If the player and the monster is close by. So sprint three, the procedure generation, the FX, audio, and the UI patterns. Procedure generation was tried, but the result was that we got wasn't that great. So we stuck to a predefined map. The levels are linear and it's just a continuous space, making it look like an endless loop. The precision could have been made much and made would have made the map much more better, I know, and would have made the game much more difficult. But for now, this is a prototype, so we just try to show the max that we can do. Okay, the procedure generation. Okay, ignore the procedure generation. The FX and the audio and the UI patterns, we heavily looked into that. Apart from the simple UI, that was just the menu screen, the winning screen, and the losing screen. Um, the heart rate monitor was also a UI. As you see there, we placed the text right on top of the hand. That was OVR player controller, which is the hand. Uh, the name OVR controller came from the Oculus integration libraries that were taken. So we didn't change it, so we just left it there. So just for our own understanding. The flashlight was just a prop that extruded light from the other hand. Uh, we don't know how to add a prop, like a 3D prop of flashlight onto the hand. So it just looks like a beam of light just gazing out through the hand. The sound effects were also a winning thing in this game. So we added the sound effects, the dim lighting. It gave the eerie vibe to the game. So it's the point of the horror game. The sound effects were completely taken from the Backrooms, the found footage. It's a video that has gotten like almost 23 million views. Um, edited all this, cutted all the sounds out, and I added to each of these states. So whenever one state occurs, then for sure that the sound will be played over there, as shown in the red mark. Okay, sprint 4, the console or optimization. The console that was used was Oculus Rift S, that was provided in the university in the gaming room. Oculus integration library was used, the controller mechanics, and the headset optimization visualization. The Oculus integration was available in the Unity web store, and we just imported it directly into the lab. Took some time to understand how exactly that thing would work, and we made a bunch of prototypes just to see um, how the movement worked, how the camera movement worked, and then finally came to an understanding on how exactly the VR works. We also optimized the VR game into a PC version, just in case if the person doesn't have a VR and wants to experience the backrooms. The experience is quite different. It's not as scary because is I mean you can see that you can like in VR there's a lot of fog of war. Like for me it looks like there's a lot of fog of war, but in PC it looks like it's like I could just see the room. But we try to replicate the max of it. And separate keyboard controls were made for this version of the game. So we deleted the OVR controller and we added the player controller for this. This regular WASD and Shift 4 run. Reflections. So this we developed the hollow eerie space by adding the monochromatic map, the horror sounds with the constant bulb sound. It's either very uncomfortable or irritating. And we also successfully developed the game in VR without any glitches and added the UI with ease with the raycasting effect. What could be developed is the procedure generation, which was one of the biggest aspects that we couldn't understand yet because um, the map looked like a bunch. When we tried it, the map looked like a bunch of boxes just like attached to each other. It wasn't looking very great. Feedbacks in the future works. So according to the most feedbacks, they found that the game is really frightening and engaging. Myself, like while I was developing the game, I got scared a bunch of times. So a few additional points they added that will be added to the future works web. More visual effects when the monster is nearby, maybe like a heart thumping, more like that, and then a vigente effect, like your vision going down as your heartbeat increases up to 150. And and I forgot to write that down, but there was one more one like giving a life, like not just like the monster should not just like one hit you, at least it has to hit you twice, so that the player has another chance, like of running away. Okay, and making the maps a bit more difficult. As of now, it looks very loopy, but if you add the procedural generation thing, they will look much tougher, and the game will be a much more difficult game. In summary, I learned a lot while developing this project. I aim to improve my skills more in the field of VR, and my master's project is heavily based on the VR now. So this game was just like a starting point for me on my VR journey. Thank you. This ends my project.